ANZAC Day has become an occasion to honour all who have worn our country's uniform in service to our nation. Today, we reflect on service and sacrifice. We recognise more than 100,000 Australian and New Zealand servicemen and women who lost their lives fighting our nation's wars. We recognise the values that have been invested in the original ANZACs. Values like loyalty, selflessness and courage, and the way in which later generations have measured their own achievements against those of soldiers who fought at Gallipoli. Ahead of ANZAC Day, I have been thinking about the spirit of ANZAC and Vivale. The spirit of ANZAC lives on today. It remains unbreakable, unifying force between Australia and New Zealand, the ultimate expression of the trans-Tasman bond. And it encompasses the attributes of our soldiers at Gallipoli as they undertook the difficult and dangerous mission, being brave in the face of danger, being loyal to their mates, and persevering together when the going got tough. Whilst the term ANZAC spirit is delivered from the First World War, the characteristics that underpin this term apply no less to soldiers who fought in other battles, theatres and conflicts. These include the members of the First Fiji contingent who were attached to the King's Royal Rifles in the battles of Ypres in 1915, where sadly all but 3 lost their lives. The Fijians who served with the Kiwis through the World War II, including the brave sacrifice of Corporal Sukarnavalu in Bougainville in 1944, who after rescuing his mates, sacrificed his own life to ensure the safety of the troops. He was later awarded the Victoria Cross, the highest and most prestigious award for gallantry for Commonwealth forces, becoming the only Fijian to be awarded a VC. The Australian, New Zealand and Fijian peacekeeping forces who deployed to Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, in the late 1970s and early 1980s, and the Fijian forces who served alongside Australia in Timor-Leste and Bougainville, and all personnel, including those from the Republic of Fiji military forces, currently serving on peacekeeping missions and other operations around the world today. In March, I had the privilege of accompanying Prime Minister Rabuka to the handover of Fiji's second Guardian class patrol boat, RFNS Pormau. She will soon return to Fiji for commissioning to join sister ship RFNS Savanatha. This has given me an opportunity to reflect on the significance of their namesakes. Fijian service personnel who no doubt embody the ANZAC spirit. Able seaman Pormau from the Lau Islands and able seaman Savanatha from Yasawa Islands were 2 Fijian sailors who served on board a New Zealand Leander class light cruiser in Solomon Islands during World War II. These 2 sailors were on board when the ship was torpedoed on the 13th of July 1943, and were among the 26 members that were lost on that day. Today, the Republic of Fiji Navy honours the memory of these two sailors and their service during World War II by naming Fiji's two Guardian-class patrol boats in memory of them. This demonstrates the close relationship between Australia, Fiji and New Zealand throughout history in protecting the maritime security of the Pacific. Vavale means my home is your home. Vavale recognises our respect for each other. It recognises our shared history and our inherent commitment to always be there for one another in the future. The military cemetery where we are today contains 66 Commonwealth war graves, in which 35 Fijian, 31 New Zealand service personnel are buried, as well as 12 post-war graves. Those who lie here are protected by their Vavale. The ANZAC spirit is about supporting your mates, your Vavale. We all collectively share a duty and a responsibility to honour the legacy and sacrifice of those buried here, to protect their place of rest and to safeguard our region as a zone of peace in the future. Recently, our Vavale has been embodied through Fiji's support to tragic bushfires and floods that devastated Australia, the terrible cyclones and earthquakes that struck New Zealand, and our combined response to natural disasters in other countries throughout our region, such as Tonga and Vanuatu. We also currently have a Coral Warrior contingent here in Fiji, where we see the RFMF, ADF, NZDF and UK Defence Forces working together side by side as family and as mates. And we have the Defence Pacific Air Program, where we see Australian Air Force aviators here with the C-27 aircraft supporting Fiji's most pressing needs, especially in faraway communities. Our support to our friends extends into the region at the request of the Solomon Islands. The police and defence forces of Fiji, Australia, New Zealand and Papua New Guinea are supporting the Royal Solomon Islands Police Force to deliver safe and secure elections. Today's story of service is created by everyday people who do extraordinary things. But they could not do what they do without the support of their families, their friends, and their communities. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank all current and former service personnel, as well as their families and friends, for the incredible sacrifices they make every day to keep us safe, to keep our region secure, and to be ready when our nation calls. Today, on this day of remembrance and reflection, we honour all who served in the First World War, the Second World War, and all subsequent wars and conflicts. We remember the courage, compassion, and spirit of service of Australians and New Zealand and those who fought in support, including our Fiji Vavale, and the spirit they've exhibited in the most difficult of circumstances. We live a secure, prosperous and free life today because of the sacrifices they made. We are eternally grateful, lest we forget.
Mm-hmm.